Good day. This is Chuck Cameron, OCTV, and the program is My Life. Today, I'm sitting next to Willis Scott, a local boy who's got quite a story, or 2 or 5 or maybe 11. So Willis, thanks for joining me today in the My Life program.
Okay.
Nice to meet you.
Well, nice to be here.
Good.
I wasn't really anxious about it, but I was glad to see today come.
Good. And tomorrow, this will be all in the past. Well,
Happens that way.
it does, yes, sir. Here's a question for you. We like to start with what you're doing now, today. What you're up to, what you've been up to in the last few months, the last year or so, to anchor this thing. And then we go back and drag you back to when you were a kid and talk a little bit about your life and the people and the events that help make you the man you are today. So start out with telling us what you're up to today.
Procrastinating.
I see.
Yeah.
I see.
Procrastinating mostly. I still have to rake the front yard.
Yep.
But it's so hard to ruin that. The big golden.
The carpet.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous. But now that it's starting to get brown out,
Yes, sir. Got it.
rake them up in rows and take the lawnmower and the bagger and all.
Chop them up. Okay.
Bummer.
So you're living around here?
Yeah.
There?
In the village.
In the village. Okay. So this is an easy drive for you all the way over to OCT.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. And rumor has it you know our station manager, Terry Stiles, pretty well.
Yeah, since she was born.
Yes, he was born. All right, good. Well, we'll look forward to hearing some stories. Let's drag you back a few decades.
Just a few.
Talk to us, if you would, about where you grew up, about home life, mom and dad, and about whether you have any brothers or sisters. Let's start with that.
Bunny Run, Michigan.
Yep.
Mile east of Lake Orion.
Okay.
Jeez. Description of Bunny Run. A ribbon of grass in the middle of the street because there wasn't that much traffic.
Got it. Got it. Interesting.
And, you know, when more and more people moved in and winterized summer cottages, and probably by the time I was 10, the grass was gone out of the streets because there was too many cars.
Yep.
And it must have been 10 a day.
Phew, that much.
Yeah.
I suspect you're one of the few people who can remember grass down the middle of the street.
Well, my sisters do.
I see. Good. All right.
My sister wrote a song about that.
Interesting.
It was called When Mama's Hair Was Brown, and there was a line in there. A ribbon of grass grew down the street, and a kid had room to roam.
That's a good line. Yeah.
She's a good songwriter.
So you have brothers and sisters, or just sisters?
Yeah. I have a brother, 92.
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh.
And we all call him Big Brother because he might hit you.
Wouldn't want that.
He wouldn't really go.
What's his name?
Huh?
What's his name?
Elmer.
Elmer? Okay.
Yeah.
Local now or not? Does he live around here?
No, he lives up in Lewiston.
Okay, got it.
I have a sister in Lewiston, too.
Okay. Now,
I like to get up there and try to get them in trouble.
yeah, that's a nice part of the state.
Yeah, Lewiston, Atlanta area.
Yep.
That's the last place I deer hunted was up there.
That's the elk properties up there, aren't there? Elk up here?
Yeah.
Yep. Got it.
About 2 years ago, my sister, Loretta, and I were driving around the 2-track trails through the woods and talking about where she picked mushrooms or helped her son-in-law drag a deer or whatever.
Yep.
And I kind of chewed on her a little bit. You know, you're too old to be dragging deer. Just let him do it himself. Don't do that.
Yep.
But we came down a trail, and she knew where it was going, and I didn't. And there was a cow elk in the road,
Excellent.
a yearling.
Yeah.
Cutest critter you ever saw.
Yeah.
And so she walks out of the road over, and this is summertime, roll the windows down because the windows were up to keep the bugs out. And we're talking to this cow elk. And two others, or three maybe, walked up, and I never heard a cow elk make any sound except kind of a squeak.
Okay.
These elk are squeaking at us, and neither one of us got video of it. We were too, wrapped up in the moment to.
You have the video here, though.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Oh, how cute a cow elk is, a yearling cow.
Very good.
They were so cute.
Well, let's drag back a bit. When you were growing up, where are you in age to your siblings? And what was it like at home? What was life like at home for you?
I was the youngest. I'm a spoiled brat.
Okay, got it.
And then there's Loretta's older than me, and Dolores is the songwriter, and Elmer's the oldest.
Got it. So 4 of you.
That's right.
Some pretty good age spread there too, from Elmer to you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Mom and Dad weren't in a hurry.
Got it.
Well, like there's 16 years between me and
Yeah. All right.
my brother.
So what was Dad like? What was Mom like?
Dad was 5'6", about 130 pounds at the most. And auto body, bump and paint, metal shaping kind of guy.
Yeah.
You know? And I used to love to walk downtown with him because everybody knew him, and he, took half of his time pumping paws with whoever he met.
Yes, that's so good.
It's like,
Nice to be proud of our dad, isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah.
everybody just loved that guy.
And what was Mom like?
Well, they all loved her too. I mean, it was nothing for me to be out playing as a little kid and walk in the house and here it is, full of ladies drinking coffee.
Got it.
So she was a PN at Lapeer Hospital most of her time.
So she took care of people at the work, and she took care of kids at home.
Yep.
Yep. What kind of person was she? What do you remember about her?
Well, you didn't give her any static,
I see. I see.
but she would, well, like most of the Bunny Run moms, they would feed any kid that looked hungry.
Yep.
And she was one of those.
Excellent.
Well, the kids, hey, it's lunchtime. Did you eat lunch yet? No, Mrs. Scott. Well, get in here and eat this. Okay.
Excellent. So, school were Lake Orion schools, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Any teachers in that time, high school, that were influential on you? Folks you remember? People that made a dent in your life or your head?
Yeah.
Both?
Someone wanted to dent my head.
I see.
I don't know. That seems to be. How come only the mean ones stand out? I'm not going to, mention their names.
No.
But the really good ones were. You get a grin. Names that are probably still familiar to everybody in the county. Chastain, Wurtenberger, those,
Okay. Names people would know, huh?
yeah,
Yep.
lovely folks.
Good teachers make a long shadow, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
They do. All right.
Chapin,
Okay.
Mrs. Chapin, geez, I was just talking to her son Friday. Dwyer,
But,
she was adored by all.
yeah. Special people.
Yeah, special person.
So you went
And
through.
her sons are great.
Okay, got it. Yep. So as we wind down this section, you went to Lake Orion schools, lots of good teachers, a few that that were challenging. What'd you like to do in school? Hobbies or sports or anything?
Oh, yeah. If it wasn't football practice, it was procrastinating, doing homework.
Got it. Yep.
Mostly walk. At that time, was that 50 years ago, you could walk through the neighborhood with a shotgun over your shoulder and walk out into the woods and do that hunting and stuff.
Yep.
And my dad was medically retired, and so he was there when I got home. And it was a normal thing. Put at least 2 shotgun shells in your pocket
Excellent.
and walk 2 blocks to the woods, and nobody called a SWAT team on you or anything like
Nope. Must be good memories.
that. Yeah.
Yep. Did your older brother hunt as well, or with your dad, or no?
Yeah, but him being like 16 years older than me,
Yep.
and then when I was about 3 or 4, he got married,
Okay.
and I kind of cherished the little bit of time that I got to be
Sure.
hang out with my big brother. You know?
Yep. That's a good time. All right.
This is the age difference. He
Yep.
was busy, you know. He's a dad.
That'll fill up your days
Yeah.
and your hours.
You know it.
That's right. So you were sports and homework and fun. Any particularly good friends that you remember back in those days?
Oh yeah. Yeah. See, when your big brother's 16 years older than you, you adopt the first big brother that you can find.
there you go.
Was Bill Toll. And William Charles Toll. I adopted him immediately when they moved in. I was 8 and he was 10.
So that's officially Big Brother.
Yeah, officially big brother.
It worked. All right.
And fell in love with all his sisters.
It's as it should be.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Well, we're going to take a little break. When we come back, we're going to take a look at what happens next. You get out of high school and early adult life. I understand you've got a story to tell about the service of our country based on your cap.
About what?
Serving our country.
Oh, country.
Yep. So we'll take a minute and get back to you, all right?
All right.
All right.
Hello, this is Lomas Brown, ex-Detroit Lion, and you're watching OCTV. That's Oxford Community TV. Check it out.
Okay, so Willis, you high school in Lake Orion,
Yeah.
had some fun, made some friends, stuff you enjoyed from high school, stuff you didn't particularly like from high school. Give us a view of that.
Enjoyed from high school. When the last bell rang, it just seemed like it was just taking too much
Yes,
time
sir.
out of my day. I had other stuff to do.
Yep.
But got crappy marks all the way through school until senior year.
Okay.
then I said, well, maybe I better straighten up or I'll have to do this more. So I did pay attention.
Got it. Yes. So you were motivated at that point. Yep.
Yeah, that's, I finally heeded the warning.
Yeah. It takes us a while, doesn't it, sometimes?
Yeah.
If you're like me. So after high school, what'd you do?
Hired in a Pontiac motor
Yeah.
and made a whole lot of friends there from all around the area, and immediately got drafted. It seemed like, man, I was really getting into this. All these people from all over the southeastern Michigan would congregate here, and we'd do our 8 to 10 hours and know each other's names of their cats, or dogs and babies.
Yep.
And how many grandchildren so and so had, And then, well, Uncle Sam said, nope, you're going here. Okay.
So what year was that when he came and found you?
66.
66.
I graduated in 66.
Got it.
Later on in 66, boom, there you are. You're in the Army now, boy.
He knocked on the door. So where'd you do basic, and then where'd you head after that?
Basic was Fort Knox, Kentucky, which was the phases that you go through basic training with get kind of blur, but you never forget the platoon sergeant. He was an ornery old World War II vet, redneck. I love that guy. And
What was his
everybody was said they hated him, but at graduation,
Yeah.
they all just thought he was the cat's ankle boy.
Sort of a love-hate relationship, huh?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, because you didn't have time to coddle anybody, and that's the way they all were, I guess.
He had a job to do. Do you remember his sergeant's name?
As Griffith,
Griffith.
Sergeant Griffith.
We're not talking about Andy Griffith there, are we?
No. Or he would tell us stories when we were marching about he joined the Army and they made him wear shoes.
Ooh. Okay, that tells you something.
Yeah, he was born in the hills of Kentucky and got shoes. First time he had shoes was in the Army.
My.
Whoa.
So after you got through basic, and dear Sergeant Griffith, where'd you go from there, and what'd you end up doing?
Since I didn't have any preference or choice, they put me in the Signal Corps and sent me to training. And I think the first place was Fort Gordon, Georgia. It was miserable. It was, well, then I'll skip that part. Then to Fort Ord, California, where the accommodations were a little better. You had a barracks instead of a tent.
Yep.
And then out of training, I kept on training at Fort Huachuca, Arizona. But when I got off the plane in Vietnam, myself and 2 other guys said, looks like Fort Gordon, Georgia here.
Really? Oops.
Everybody started laughing. You're right. It's
Maybe because of the temperature and
the temperature and the foliage and the mowed places and plowed places, and it looked like Fort Gordon, Georgia, and everybody just broke out laughing.
Someplace you didn't really want to see again, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
right. Not that I hate Georgia or anything. Georgia's a beautiful place, but Fort Gordon at that time was not a fun place to be.
So then what was life like for a new soldier when he got to Nam?
Well, when they tell you don't be surprised when such and such happens, you're surprised anyway. Like it rains so hard you can't see your hand in front of your face for about 5 minutes and then stops. That blew me away.
Yeah.
I said, wow. Because that happened a little bit in Arizona. Once in a while it would be that really, really, really rain and then stop. Sun's back out.
That'd be strange.
Yeah. That's, maybe it's just following me around. I don't know, but
So you were a signal corpsman then?
yeah.
All right. What did that entail? What's a signal corpsman do? Especially a new signal corpsman.
Well, I had been trained in, they called it 36C10, don't know why. It was single, all this is so old, people, new Signal Corps people would probably say, wait a minute, let me go back, 5 decades and reread those manuals. That was field phones, how to run field phones and do stuff like that. And then after that, they trained us in 36C20, what meant pole lineman.
Got it.
And all of that's changed so much. I've talked to new pole linemen
Yep.
lately, and they said, "What are you talking about?" Well, I'm talking about tools.
Yep.
And they say, "We don't use that. We don't use that. What would you want that? Never mind."
So that was state of the art then, and we have a new state of the art now, and the now people have no idea that then existed, do they?
Right.
Yep.
Right.
All right.
I call them kids. They're 25, 30.
Yep. Did you see any combat action?
Not on purpose.
Well said.
Yeah. No, the Army intelligence is oxymoron.
Yes, sir.
And they tell you, take this truck and your tools and go fix this out somewhere. And I say, okay, well, who's it in the arms room? Oh, you don't need your weapon. You're not a combat chief. So you're driving a truck by yourself
Yeah.
out through the boondocks,
Unarmed.
unarmed.
Yeah.
Well,
What
you
could
have
go
your
wrong?
pliers.
That's good.
But and the thing is, when you're up high on a telephone pole, you can hear way far away, and that's before the rocket launcher damage. I think it's brain damage. Right. You hold a steel tube on your shoulder and shoot a rocket out of it.
Yep.
It makes an ugly noise.
Yep.
But I could hear, shooting off this was a hilly area, and off to my left, it sounded like it was miles away, but bullets come zipping by your head. I don't need to fix the rest of this. It's time to jump off the pole. Yeah. Then the sergeant says, "Get back up there."
Yes, sir.
No, I'm not getting back up there. There's bullets flying. I didn't hear anything. Well, you weren't on the pole. And we're looking at the top of the pole, and there's one wire hanging that I had not spliced yet. And a couple of bullets hit the top of the pole. It was not a wooden pole. It was the old French concrete pole, and we both went.
Yep. Yep.
Pieces of concrete
get a
land
little
on
rain, huh?
you. He says, "Hey, let's get out of here, Sarge. You're a genius.
Yes.
We'll fix it tomorrow."
That's why they made him a sergeant. Yes, sir. Good. All right.
Dumb stuff.
So how long were you in Nam, and then what'd you do when you got out?
In Nam for about a year,
Okay.
and went back to Pontiac Motors, and it wasn't the same. It was for a little while, but then you had all these Vietnam vets coming back, and that wasn't so bad. But
I bet you weren't the same either.
I didn't. No, I wasn't the same. Nobody was the same.
Yep. Yep.
Because when you got back, pretty little hippie chicks would scream baby killer and spit in your face
Yep.
in the San Francisco airport. When I conveyed that story at the VFW post, here comes the same story from Chicago, New York,
Yep.
from different people.
Well, hard times followed hard times.
Yep.
Well, you probably hear a lot from people, but you'll hear
How
from
times
me.
change. Yeah.
We appreciate the fact that you answered the call instead of ran away, and that you did your time, and that I suspect that it made you a stronger man.
Times do change,
Yes, sir.
because later on, let's see, from 67, 68 till 2013, I didn't notice any change. I just, like most Vietnam vets, you keep your mouth shut, don't talk about anything like that. And in a gas station, this lovely young woman said, "Are you a Vietnam vet?" And I said, "Yes." Kind of getting ready to step back. She walked over and hugged me and said, "Thank you for your service." Beats the hell out of getting spit on.
Yes, it does.
And then Terry's sister, Vicky, my favorite lady on the planet, we were at Sullivan's Public House in Oxford. And we had, a typical excellent dinner like they serve there.
They do.
And I get the bill, and this child behind the bar, beautiful little girl. She's not a little girl. She's,
To you and I, she
She
is.
gave me the thing that said paid in full.
Yeah.
She got me.
Yep. As she should. We'll keep that thought. We're going to take a little break, and we're going to come back, and we're going to look ahead. We're going to look to the future. So stay with us. Willis has got some stories to tell.